Hey guys, this is your league commissioner with the Week 7 recap, and I want to tell you a little bit about my day on Sunday. I awoke at the crack of dawn to show my support for streaming NFL games. At the time I didn't know it, but I was one of 15 million people who watched the Bills versus the Jaguars. In comparison, about 4 million people watched the World Cup final when it was streamed online for free. Just imagine if Yahoo streamed a game between two teams that people actually give a shit about at a time that people are actually awake for. The game was exciting and considered a huge success. Yay for online streaming. But I was a little disappointed with the video quality. Yahoo really needs to adapt Pied Piper's platform and improve its Weissman score. When the quality was good, it was really good. But most of the time, it really sucked. Kind of like Kyle Base's fantasy team. If I know one thing, it's that Florida sucks at football. But on Sunday morning, I thought I was having some sort of fantasy nightmare. Jacksonville won and completely murdered the stat sheet. TJ Yeldon, 18 points. Allen Robinson, 15.5. Allen Hurns, 11. And the Jags defense, 22. I was like, shit. Nick and the Kyles are going to have a good week. And then the 10 a.m. game started. And pretty much my entire team was playing at that time. By halftime, Miami was dominating the Texans. Tannehill, Miller, and Landry were on fire with 8 combined touchdowns. Tampa Bay was beating the Redskins, and Mike Evans had a huge touchdown catch. Meanwhile, the Colts were being shut out by the Saints. T.Y. Hilton, Martavis Bryant, Rob Gronkowski, and DeAndre Hopkins had about 30 yards combined. My team had like 25 points, 11 of which came from Russell Wilson on Thursday night and 10 from my defense just because they hadn't blown it yet. Everything I thought I knew about fantasy football was wrong. But the announcers were saying that this was the Miami that they'd expected to see all season. And I was like, what if this isn't a fluke? What if Kyle was right about Miami? What if Florida doesn't suck at football? What if Kyle and Nick don't suck at fantasy football? What if I suck at fantasy football? Nah. I could see my whole season falling apart. I could see the Dolphins beating the Patriots, Tampa Bay beating Carolina, and Jacksonville winning more than 2 games. My team was headed to the Sacco Bowl, and Nick and Kyle were gonna play in the Shiva Bowl. But then the second half came. The clouds parted, and Shiva made everything right in the wonderful world of football. And Shiva saith, Blessed be DeAndre Hopkins' lymphoma, and damned all who oppose my chosen people. Praise be to the Shiva for her divine wisdom and blessings. In the second half, Miami only scored a field goal, and Lamar Miller didn't get another handoff. Tampa Bay blew a big lead and made Kirk Cousins look like Tom Brady. T.Y. Hilton had an 80-yard touchdown catch, followed by a 50-yard touchdown. Gronk got a TD, Bryant got a TD, Freeman ran for like 80 yards. It took a whole half, but my team finally woke up, and I got the highest score of the week and the biggest blowout for the 4th time. With the win over Ginger Lives Don't Matter, my team improves to 6-1. Despite averaging 66 points a game, Eric still has a winning record and is in 6th place. For comparison, Nick and Kyle have averaged 84 and 89 points respectively, but are in 9th and 10th place. Levy on the bench got its second win and an upset victory over Captain America. Curtis's loss drops him from 2nd place into 4th. Luck of the Ivory got its 5th win over Don't Hate the Slayer, Hate the Game, and Adam takes over 2nd place. Another mystery I'm trying to figure out is, did Set Up the Colemans set their lineup this week? I mean, Kyle took Matt Forte out because he was on a bye, so maybe Kyle just didn't know that Mariota wasn't going to play on Sunday. Set Up the Colemans lost by 27 points, which is exactly how many points Ryan Tannehill had while sitting on Kyle's bench. Lamar Miller's 35.5 points wins Kyle the MVP trophy, but Brown on Foster's got the win that matters. And it came with a heavy price. Arian Foster, Mike's highest scorer of the week, is out for the rest of the season on a non-contact play. Like, did you see it? Like, it was really bad. He just, like, fell down. Mike got his highest point total so far, scoring over 100 points for the 2nd time. Joey and Will also had their best weeks of the season, each breaking 100 points for the first time. Joey won by 60, which puts him only half a point from being the biggest blowout winner. Today, as I was updating the graphs, I've noticed some stat corrections from the previous week, so maybe I should wait a little bit before I actually assign that trophy to myself. Joey moves up into 3rd place. Calvin Klein is still in last, and getting the lowest score of the week didn't help things. Timmy made that trade with Kyle Ernsberger, and it kind of confused me. Kyle had a lot of players on bye, so I assumed he was giving up 2 of them to get a running back, who was going to be playing this week. But Dion Lewis was going against the Jets defense, and then he ended up not even playing. So I didn't know what was up. It confused me. Timmy got James Jones and Ronnie Hillman, so his team's looking a little better. Just Really Things got its fourth win over Adrian Peterson. As Luke pointed out to us, he needed 11 points from Steve Smith on Monday night in order to catch up to Will. But he only got 7.5, and Adrian Peterson fails to close out on Monday night once again. If you look at the standings by week graph, you'll see a big orange S curve, like that's all over the place. That's Will's team. Just Girly Things fell from second to ninth and is now back up to fifth. No team has had such drastic changes or been more consistent in drastic changes in standings or been more consistent in weekly points. Here are your week 8 matchups: Mike versus Luke, Will versus Kyle Ernsberger, Curtis versus Timmy, Adam versus Eric, two of the top teams, Brian versus Joey, and two of the bottom teams, Nick versus Kyle Besa. Good luck.